This is Sylvia Saber with Optv Global Headlines. Starting with the top international stories for the day. The US and British embassies in Kabul have accused the insurgent Taliban of revenge killing dozens of civilians in the area of Spin Boldak in Kandahar province. These murders could constitute war crimes. They must be investigated and those Taliban fighters responsible held accountable, the US embassy tweeted. Ferocious fighting took place in a major Afghan city. Lashkargah in Helmand province faced heavy assault from the militants despite persistent US and Afghan airstrikes. The Taliban claimed to have seized a TV station while thousands of people fleeing rural areas took shelter. Amid recent surging coronavirus cases in Florida, a top Republican National Committee official in the state has spread anti-vaccine rhetoric and misinformation. He compared the US President Joe Biden's administration's vaccine efforts to a Nazi-era brown shirts and twice calling the vaccines the mark of the beast. Peter Freeman, a lawyer and RNC committeeman from Florida, made the comments on his blog, The Backhoe Chronicles. Israel's Supreme Court has offered Palestinian families in the Sheikh Jarrah neighborhood of occupied East Jerusalem a so-called protected status which prevents forced expulsion in coming years. But it does not confer them to ownership of their homes. Dozens of people protested outside the court in Jerusalem in support of the 4 Palestinian families facing expulsion by Israeli settlers. Britain and Iran have issued warnings to each other's diplomats as tensions escalated over a recent attack on an oil tanker in the Arabian Sea. Iran said it will respond promptly to any threat against its security, while the United States and Britain said they could work with their allies to respond to the attack on the Mercer Street petroleum product tanker. Safir Pakistan Awards held in Houston in honor of successful Pakistanis living in the United States. Many renowned Pakistanis, including Congresswoman Sheila Jackson and well-known businessman Tahir Javed, received awards for their outstanding contributions. Sheila Jackson said, "Now it's the time to highlight the work of Pakistani community to the world and strengthen the relationship of Pakistanis with the US government." Up next, we have the national updates. Prime Minister Imran Khan sets wealth creation as next target for government. He stressed the need for manufacturing all sorts of products at the local level so that people could rely on locally made items instead of imported products. The Prime Minister said that after attaining what he calls stability in the economy, his government's next target was to increase exports and cut imports to save foreign exchange. Security forces conducted an area clearance operation in Zangotai of North Waziristan. During an intense exchange of fire, 2 terrorists were killed. The killed terrorists were actively involved in fire raids and improvised explosive device explosions against security forces, according to the Inter-Services Public Relations. A soldier was martyred after terrorists opened fire on a military post in Gariom area of North Waziristan. The troops had responded in a befitting manner while sanitization of the area was being carried out to eliminate any terrorists, the military's media wing said. The London High Court has ordered the National Accountability Bureau to pay 3 separate amounts to the Broadsheet LLC by 13th August, or else the United National Bank's London branch will be forced to make payments to the Broadsheet LLC. Master Davison issued an order asking NAB to pay 3 amounts of £892,521.50, £110 and additional costs of £26,296.80 to be paid to the Broadsheet's account. Reiterating the government's stance that the country has been in Financial Action Task Force grey list merely on political grounds, Minister of State for Parliamentary Affairs declared in National Assembly that Pakistan would not take any foreign dictation on the issue of prosecution of its nationals. Now, foreign dictation will not be allowed on the issue of someone's prosecution. The minister responded to questions by the opposition members. Chairman Pakistan People's Party Bilawal Bhutto Zardari has rejected the recent petroleum price hike and said the federal government does not care for poor people's problems. The PPP chairman said Pakistan could not bear more inflation. Up next, we have the health updates. The US has finally reached President Joe Biden's goal of getting at least one COVID-19 shot to the 70% of American adults. There's been a fierce surge by the Delta variant that is swamping hospitals and leading to new mask rules and mandatory vaccinations around the country. Pakistan has reported 67 deaths in the last 24 hours by novel coronavirus as the number of positive cases has surged to 1,043,277. Punjab remains the worst hit province in terms of deaths, followed by Sindh and Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. Up next, we have the sports updates. Foreign Minister of Pakistan Makhdoom Shah Mahmood Qureshi condemned India's negative attitude and conspiracies against the Kashmir Premier League. He called upon the International Cricket Council to take notice of the Indian behavior. Shah Mahmood Qureshi called upon the Narendra Modi government to conduct the same cricketing event in the Indian-occupied Kashmir as well. Former England cricket spinner Monty Panesar has pulled out of the Kashmir Premier League 2021, citing political pressure from the Board of Control for Cricket in India. Panesar said the BCCI had advised him that if he played in KPL 2021, the consequences could include not being granted a visa to India in the future and not being allowed to work in the country. New Zealand cricket chief has declared the Kane Williamson and Company's tour of Pakistan depends on the security situation. The tour will go ahead only if its security consultants are happy with the arrangements made by the Pakistan Cricket Board and the government. NZC has hired independent security consultant Rick Dixon for security assurances for the September till October window. Up next, we have the entertainment updates. Pakistani actress and model Mehwish Hayat has been finalized to play Benazir Bhutto in the revered politician's biopic, confirming long-held belief that she should take up the mantle of portraying Pakistan's first female prime minister in a potential biopic. Mehwish Hayat said that the project is under development and according to the magnitude of the project, it's going to take a while. Pakistan's superstar Mahira Khan shares her first look from Shahryar Munawwar Siddiqui's directorial debut short film Prince Charming. Mahira said in a tweet that it was a pleasure working with the entire team and co-actor Zahid. Up next, we have the business updates. The Oil and Gas Regulatory Authority has increased the price of imported LNG for the fifth consecutive month. With the increase by $0.69 per MMBT, the new price of LNG for Sui Nadan has been fixed at $13.60 per MMBTU. The Pakistani rupee dropped to its lowest value against the US dollar in almost 9 months after a 0.76% fall in interbanking trading. Meanwhile, dollar has dropped by 1.50 rupees at open market and being traded around 164.20 rupees in open market. Up next, we have the updates on science and technology. A 25-year-old Bengal tiger living in Tiger Creek Animal Sanctuary in Texas state of United States has been confirmed as the oldest living tiger in captivity. Guinness World Records has confirmed that the tigress, which has never given birth, has spent more than 2 decades in the Texas sanctuary. The American Boeing company is about to run another demonstration mission of its new astronaut capsule. The CST-100 Starliner is set to launch from Florida to showcase how it can ferry crews to and from the International Space Station with no people aboard. That's all from this bulletin. For more updates, do stay with us and keep watching Optv Global.